fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my God! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
The following is a presentation of the iRacing eSports Network.
Welcome back for part 2 of the Friday night doubleheader. We are now at Dover International Raceway for the Gander Outdoor Truck Series C-Class Fixed, the staple of the Friday night races. A series that has delivered plenty of good racing for us. And tonight, Dover, being a short track or shorter track, will once again deliver some fantastic racing for us. Back with me again is Cameron Dance and, of course, Scott Fountain in the producer's box. You can see people are starting to head out for their qualifying laps at the moment. And Cam had a very good start to tonight. We're hoping to see that we'll back it up with this one as well.
Yes, certainly. We hope to see the Monster Mile put on a pretty good show like we've seen in previous editions of races around here. And obviously, like we saw in the Coke Series on Wednesday, it was a very reasonable race. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen tonight and what Dover may or may not put on.
Exactly. You can see times are flying in at the moment. So we can see at the moment, top of the timesheet, Tony Rasputin coming in with a 22.4 times as close as ever. Being with the NASCAR stuff. Very, very close times up the top at the moment. See a few drivers still out on their laps, trying to get themselves best spot they possibly can. Also noticing already in the field, Dominic Story looked like it. I thought it looked like Lewandowski. I thought someone's actually making the double attempt, but fortunately no, it'll be a different Dominic tonight. But see a few cars running laps. Dominic Lokominski coming around the final corner, looking like he's about to start. No, was about to start. That's probably not how you want to do it. Fortunately, that will invalidate that lap. See the number 9, Cesar Caracasco, coming to the start-finish line at the moment. That'll be his laps done for the moment. So he'll be sitting in P6 for now. A few more drivers left to run their laps. A few haven't made their way down the track yet. So we'll wait and see how those times come in.
Yeah, we certainly will. And Matthew Lawson coming across the line to put himself P6. So that is his 3 laps done. So a couple of drivers currently still yet to set any lap times. About a minute and a half left in the session at the moment. So we'll see whether anybody else sets a time. Lukaminski coming across the line to finish his second lap. And it will be a 22.541 to put himself into P7.
Finally got that lap over and done with. The first one obviously did not start all too well. You can see Joel Magnol coming out of the lane at the moment. He's actually, he's just made contact with the fence coming out of the lane. So that looks like that'll end his chances. Only about 40 seconds left on the clock at the moment. So there's not a lot of time left for them to get those laps in. See a few drivers still running around at the moment. The number 9 doing a few extra siding laps by the looks of it, trying to get himself sorted for the start. And that looks like we'll have everyone done. Doesn't look like anyone else making their way on track. So looks like that'll set the grid for tonight's race. So as we have a quick breath while we wait for the session to finish up. So only a few more seconds left. We'll get the grid up for you so we can show you how tonight will line up for this one. As you can see, grid on screen at the moment. Tony Rasperden will start on the pole. Christopher Morse will come in on second. Brian McCrane in third. Sorry, McRae in third. Brian Hyder fourth. Reese Saunders in fifth. Matthew Lawson P6. Dominic Lukaminski. Lukaminski will come home in seventh. Cesar De Valle Carrasco will come home in eighth. Christopher Fowler ninth. John Sylvester rounding out the top 10.
And then the rest of your order: Jonathan Cross, Brian Getiff, Ryan Carley, Joe Manigal, and Julian Kustachiza in the rounding out the 15 car field to tonight. So a little bit smaller, but nevertheless should be able to put on a good race.
Yeah, a little bit smaller with a track length the way it is, a few less cars, but as you say, be looking forward to a fantastic race as they currently sit in the lane getting ready to begin their starting lap. 50 laps around Dover tonight. Have plenty of opportunities to try and make their way through the field, try and make the passes that they need to make, try and get the results that they want. We'll get weather up very shortly, see what they face for this one. Partly cloudy, got 26-degree air temp, a 44-degree track temp, so a very, very hot track. That's going to play a massive factor. We talk about this every Friday, but tyres are going to play a factor in this one. Wind 3 kilometres from the north, and once again, an 82-kilometre race, 50 laps around over. Cam, what can we expect, and who's going to be your pick for this one?
Well, I've never actually seen many of these drivers race, so it's a bit hard to have an obvious pick, but probably based on the fact that Tony Ripsard has put a very solid lap in to put himself on pole, is probably going to be one of the drivers to watch for sure to try and battle for the win. But who knows what's going to happen in this race? 50 laps around Dover, around the Monster Mile, it's going to really make it quite interesting. And tyres going to play a big factor. A lot of banking here, so tyres are going to be under a lot of strain, and making sure you don't overheat them or destroy them too quickly is going to be very key here, as you're probably going to be fueled to the end. But the pace car is off as they come through turn number 4. Ripsard leaving it very, very late. And we are underway, and the green flag is in the air.
Yes, we are off and racing. 50 laps here at Dover as they head into turn 1. Very, very good start from Tony as they head around the exit of 2. A few spots scrapping, but everyone seems to get themselves sorted out. Heading into 3 now. Christopher Moore got a very good start as well, following in second. You can see a little bit back in 3rd and 4th. Battle is hotting up there. Brian and Matthew, you can see behind them as well. Bit of a check up in the middle of the pack there. We can see number 3 of Reese Saunders looking have a bit of a look up the inside as they go into 3. Looks like he's going to get the job done. The number 9 gets put out very wide. Caesar will get dropped back through the field. As you can see, a few jostling for position at the moment. Another pass done there. The number 7, Matthew Lawson, will come up into 3rd spot, but it's not finished yet. As you can see at the back, once again, side by side as they head into 3. It's a few spots. See, dropping back as well. Reese Saunders looks like he's actually dropped back in that one. He might drop back again. He's got the number 9. Caesar having a bit of look, trying to come back through the field at the moment. Plenty of jostling going on. Number 6 of Brian McRae will start to drop back through the field as well. See, another position change going on ahead. Sorting itself out. Everyone getting their feel for it. Very aggressive start at the moment. Everyone battling for position.
Yeah, they certainly are. Great start by Matthew Lawson by the looks. We're going from 6th to 2nd and showing some very, very good pace. Got Luka Miski all over the rear end, though, and a couple of drivers, like we saw, still battling it out in the middle of the pack. Fowler and Carrasco all really heating up through the back, but just seems that the outside line just not quite working at the moment. Obviously, he hasn't taken too much rubber compared to the bottom side of the racetrack, but obviously Carrasco, Fowler, and also Carly getting involved as well now. That battle for just inside the top 10 really heating up, and Morse is actually starting to drop back a little bit from this pack up front.
Yeah, he seems to be dropping into the clutches. You can see this battle still happening at the moment. It'll all look like Ryan Carley will actually get the spot. We can see also the number 13, John Sylvester, dropping it back through the field. So it's quite interesting to see so many battle for changes happening at the moment. The top three seem to have lined themselves up. They're not interested in battling at the moment. They just want to get themselves into a rhythm, look after those tyres, and make a play for later in the race. But a lot of them battling in the mid-pack at the moment, very aggressive. And that's not really going to pay for them. Carrasco, obviously the main focus, very, very aggressive at the start. It's like I said, that's just not going to help you out in the long run. His tyres will be tortured with the track temperature as high as what it is, with the banking, as you're saying, as high as what it is. You've got to be able to sort of take care of it. It's maybe a bit wiser in not battling as much so early in the race, but see top three have got themselves into a little bit of the rhythm. You can see Brian and Reece Saunders sitting there as well. They're forming their own little bit of a battle. We can see change for position going on there. Looks like let that one go. So Reece will go up a spot into P4.
Yeah, good move by Saunders to make a move on the car of Brian Hyder. But this battle pack at the front between Lawson and Luke Kaminsky really starting to heat up, and that little checkup that's happened has allowed Saunders to get into this as well. So going to be a 3-car battle for the final 2 spots on the podium. And Brian Hyder not too far behind as well, so expect him to possibly get involved later on. But Ripsard really checking out a lot from these drivers. Do wonder if he might just burn these tyres up a little bit, and Lukaminski is starting to close up as well on him. So Ripsard possibly has pushed it a little bit too early on, doing a 22.9 that last time by compared to 22.7 for Lukaminski. So Lukaminski got a lot of pace at the moment, and Lawson's been dropped as well.
Yeah, a few guys starting to get dropped off at the moment. You can see there was a little bit of a battle going on between Brian McRae and John Sylvester, but that seems to have settled down now. See, dropping off the back of the field. There's a little bit of a battle as well going on between Joel Magnall and Brian Catliff as well. You can see Joel going to the inside as they come out of 2, and he'll get the job done. Brian looks like he made a little bit of contact with the wall. Doesn't look like it was too bad. That's going to upset his run a little bit. As he head, as you can see, back up ahead a little bit. We've got this 3-car train at the moment. John Sylvester, Brian McRae, and we've also got Christopher Fowler that leads that train at the moment. These 3 haven't really separated themselves at all. They've kept close together. So this battle pack looks like it will continue to fight on. It did settle down for a little bit. It looks like you can see there's another look for position there as they head into 1. Had a bit of a look, but didn't think he was going to get there. So they are still playing for it all, even so early on in this race.
Yeah, certainly. Track position obviously being very key at the moment. Obviously the high side not quite able to be worked as good at the moment, so getting a run on someone and getting by them is going to be very, very key, especially if you've got a little bit of pace on them. So we'll see what happens as this race progresses on. Obviously tyre wear is going to start to affect it, but looks like Sylvester's run a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Brian McRae to look up the inside as they head down to the back straight. A little bit of an overlap, but not quite going to be enough. McRae keeps his nose in there on the bottom side of the racetrack, and unfortunately Sylvester's going to have to give way to this and have to slot him behind. So position gain there for McRae and on his way to the rest of the top 10.
It's very nice move made there. Just left the nose in, just gave him the opportunity to have a look as they came out of the corner. But we're also noting up the head that Matthew Lawson, what we were saying earlier, he's done a fantastic job. He seems to be starting to drop back a little bit at the moment. He's fallen back And that's actually noticed to allow that Reposad and Lukomsky have actually checked out from this pack at the moment. They seem to be getting a nice bit of a gap, but this battle you can see with Christopher Fowler, Ryan Carley as well. See, going to the inside, he's just got his nose in there. That's going to put Ryan up on the high side, and that's going to cost him a spot, maybe two at this point. As you can see, Ryan, he's up the inside, so most likely will get that job done. See, John Sylvester will be also looking. He'll go out of there. Oh, absolutely. He's gone very wide. Looks like he's just tapped the wall. Doesn't look too bad. Joel Magnell will look at having a go here as well. So unfortunately, losing 3 spots in very short succession.
Yeah, and that's one of the difficult things about Dover is that it's very hard to hold it around the outside, especially when the track isn't quite as rubbered in as the bottom side is earlier on in these shorter races. So it does make things quite difficult, and obviously going to be not too ideal for Ryan Carley, obviously dropping back 3 positions, possibly going to be 4 at this rate. Those tyres are going to be a little bit too warm for their liking, but at the moment P3's really heated up. Matthew Lawson coming under pressure from Reece Saunders. Now Brian Hyder is going to have a look up the inside of the number 3 car of Saunders, and that's going to be a caution as well, and Morse only might have just got that one.
You can see you've got a spinner on the back straight. Looks like Christopher Fowler has had a spin. It's ended up in the wall. Go to a modem simulation replay. Have a quick look and see what's happened there. See, they're coming up to turn 1. Looking pretty normal at the moment. A little bit high. Oh, he's into the wall. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. He's been sent hard. And contact again with another driver as well. Didn't quite catch what happened, but you can hear him on the in-game comms at the moment saying the car got very, very tight on him. And you can obviously see that run very high and wide into the wall.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Fowler, but everybody comes in and is going to put tyres on to try and get home and try and use this new tyre advantage to sort of get themselves a little bit cooler and get themselves some new boots to push on it for the rest of the race, hopefully, which goes caution free with fingers crossed, but we'll see what happens. And the car of Reposad really not having a good time, as it's a bit of a race down pit road between Lukominski and Reposad, and Lukominski having a slight overlap between the car of Reposad and Matthew Lawson also racing fellow drivers down pit road. So everybody trying to get that little bit extra of speed advantage down pit road. But the interesting bit would be to see who takes 2 and who takes 4, because with how short this track is and how short the race is.
It was going to be my first thought was who's going to be brave enough, and I think we've spotted one, the number 2, by the looks of it, Dominic. Oh, but he came through the field anyway, so sorry, he started down further down the back. So that does look like what we can see. Does look like it has, but yeah, it looks like everyone has decided to take 4 tyres.
Yeah, reasonably safe strategy. And obviously being under yellow as well, there's no real need to try and be off pit lane as quick as possible. So taking 4 tyres probably the safer and the easiest option, especially for a track so tight and pretty hard on tyres as well with the hot track that we've got at the moment, 44 degrees. So those tyres will be melting very, very quickly over the course of a stint. But actually another driver that's made up good places of that pit stop cycle is Ryan Carley. He's up from P10 into P8 by the looks of it. So very, very solid pit stop there.
Absolutely. He's been sort of making his, noticed he's been picking his way through the field, a few of those little battles, taking advantage of them. But yes, in the pit stop, have a quick look at his pit stop time, 14.6 compared to the drivers around him, which are sort of in the more 15-second stop time. So he's definitely got an advantage out of that one. Fastest pit stop I can see, actually can see that Ryan and Caesar were the 2 fastest stops there, 14.6 seconds. So as they line up behind the safety car lights are out, so we are looking to go green. And we're hoping to go portion free to the end. When they get the line, they'll be on lap 25, which will be at the halfway point. So we can call this semi-stage racing. We're at the halfway point now. As you can see, Dominic checking the field up so slowly. And they go.
Oh,
Tony.
and Luke
Whoa!
Kaminsky in the wall.
He's had a bit of a touch-up with the wall there. That's not going to help him at all. And that's allowed Tony to get an absolute blinder of a start. It's checked up the rest of the field. We can see Matthew Lawson, Reece Saunders going side by side for that final. There's a bit of contact as they head up to 3. Don't want to be doing that too early. There's still a long way to go in this one. Reece will have command of the bottom line as they head to 1. See the shadows starting to descend on the track, which is going to give him a bit more grip. Christopher Morse is going to take advantage of this as well. He's going to pick himself up another spot. So he'll slip into 4th place. See Matthew Lawson dropping in behind. So Matthew Lawson dropping a couple of spots at the start. As you can see, the rest of the field seems to have stretched themselves out. That bit of a checkup probably has not helped them at all. As they come out of turn 2, Christopher Moore looking like he's got plenty of pace in this thing at the moment. He wants to go.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's got a lot of pace, giving a bit of a rub up to Reece Saunders with his front end. So really Morse trying to find a way past, but just can't quite seem to do it at the moment. He's kind of stuck in a bit of a situation where they're both on similar wear tyres. So he's really just got to try and figure out how do I find a way past and try and set up the exit so he can get on by. But really close, as you can see, through 3 and right on the tail. And Karol Lipkomonski has actually jumped right onto the back end of Rippersad here.
Yeah, it was so snazzy as well. He's managed to jump across and get there. So Limakowski's got plenty of pace in that thing at the moment. You can see he's nudging on the door. He's going to have a bit of a look. Is he going to be able to get there? It looks like he actually does. First time Tony has been challenged all race as they come out of 3. Tony's going to be on the outside, trying to get to the run into 1. He's going to try and shut the door. He just does it at the last second. Almost looked like that was going to be contact just then, but he's done a good job, Dominic, to pull out of that one and prevent a bit of contact. Battle for the lead is on.
Yeah, most certainly is. Luke Komsky really pushing Ripsuit hard here. He just seems to not quite have the pace that he did in the earlier stint. So Luke Komsky really doing everything he can to try and steal this one away from Ripsuit, but just behind them, Morse still applying the pressure to Reece Saunders, who's doing a reasonable job of holding on. Morse just seeming to drop back a little bit, so he's maybe worked those tyres a little bit too hard, but you can just see the gap at the front of the field for the fight for the lead. It's so close, it's not even funny.
You can see them two. Dominic was the fastest one that time around. Reece Saunders also was just as quick as what they are. So the second pack at the moment seems to be punching just as quick. Matthew Lawson, this group seems to be dropping back a bit. They can't seem to maintain the pace of the leaders at the moment. Brian Hyder is going to be looking for an opportunity to get past. Try and maybe see if he can get to the front pack at the moment. Everyone just settled down into little groups. Seems to be 2 by 2 at the moment. Further back down the field, everyone quite spread out at the moment. So as we head up to lap 34, we're not far from the last 15 laps of this race. So everyone settled down for a little bit, try and save the tyres a little bit more. See, Brian is having a look at the back at Matthew Lawson at the moment. He wants a position. He's going to have a bit of a look. And looks like he'll get that job done. So Matthew Lawson seems to be just losing a bit of pace at the moment after a great start. Can't seem to keep it going.
Yes, unfortunately, possibly worked the tyre a little bit too hard and maybe struggling a little bit with keeping pace. So the position gained for Hyder, who's going to be on the charge now to try and catch these two ahead of him of Morse and Saunders. And Morse still can't find a way past at this point. And Lukomsky really can't find a way past Ripsard either. Those two just stationary the whole time. But nevertheless, everybody doing great to hold on to their tyres at the moment. We'll see what happens in about 10 laps time when they really do start to hurt a bit. But nevertheless, Morse still trying to pressure the rear end of Saunders.
Yeah, it's all still plenty to play for. keeping those tyres that little bit cooler, saving yourself up for a run later on, as we saw in the earlier stint as well. We got to sort of that lap 20 mark. There was definitely a bit of a chance to have a run. We can see Christopher Moore again had a really, really good run out of 3 as they head into 1, come out of 2. A little bit of a contact, try to unsettle the rear of Reece Saunders. Can't quite do it, can't try and get the door open to have a look at him. So they come out of the final turn, come out of 4 onto the front straight. Christopher Moore has got a lot of good pace at the moment, coming off the corners very, very well. Reece has another bit of contact. While all this is happening, you can see in the background, Ryan Hyder, he's looking at this thinking, yes, I want to get involved in this. Keep this going, guys. I want to have a shot at this podium.
Yeah, and so is Matthew Lawson. Both Lawson and Hyder were actually a tenth or more quicker than Morse and Saunders. So there's clearly these two are holding each other up a lot, and Saunders possibly struggling with that front tire as well, possibly overheated it at some point. But this is going to allow those two behind to really start to close this gap, and it's going to be a four-way battle for the final spot on the podium at this rate.
Absolutely, he's definitely looking that way. As you're saying, look at Reece Saunders as he goes into the corners. You see, Christopher Moore was able to get it a lot lower. He's able to hold that bottom line a lot better. And that's where Reece is really struggling. He's coming up a fair bit, especially in the mid corner. He can't keep the car down. And that's going to start to put more pressure on those front tyres, make them scrub that little bit harder, which is obviously going to have a massive effect on his tyre life. Christopher at this point probably just needs to just tune it down a little bit, save himself up, because he's definitely got the pace at the moment. He's definitely got the tyre run. So maybe save it for the last couple of laps. First and second have checked out. Tony and Dominic getting a nice gap at the moment as we head to lap 43. Not long left to go. The battle for third is still on. It's still going to run down to the wire.
Yeah, it certainly is. Morse is really all over the back end now of Saunders. Is just continuing to try his best to hold on to those tyres of his, which he really is struggling with at this point, and he just can't seem to get enough out of them anymore to try and get enough of an advantage to pull away from the car of Morse. And Morse slightly quicker that last time by, and now also Lawson and Hyder have actually sort of balanced out a little bit in terms of lap times. So they're starting to match the two ahead of them, so not going to be too ideal for them with 5 to go. But nevertheless, Saunders doing a fantastic job to hold off the car of Morse.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job right now. You can see Morse is having a bit of a look, but it's just not quite enough. Reece doing just enough to keep it at bay. You can see in the mid corner, once again, it's where Reece is struggling. Morse gets a very good run in the mid part of the track, but now he's struggling to sort of come off the corners a bit more. That's where he was really good. He's just not able to get the car coming off the corner. As I say that, he's actually got a really good run out of 2. He might have a bit of a look. Doesn't pull out of the draft. Sort of had a bit of a think about it, but this is where he's starting to tune it up now. He's starting to have a look. He's close now than he has been in a while. As I see, there's a bit of a touch at the rear, bit of a touch again. He's giving a bit of Morse code to let him know. Either let me, oh, he's got the wall.
He has caught the wall. They're very, very lucky to get away with that and could have ended his race right there and then, but managed to only just hold on to it somehow. So got away with that one, but really, really going to hurt him a little bit in a straight line. He's dropped back quite a bit as well from Saunders, so possibly be pushing those tyres a little bit too hard now at this point as Mawson. There's not long to go, so he just needs to try and hold on and he'll get a solid top 5 finish, but at the moment, looks like Ripsad's really got this one in the bag.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be job done out front. We've only got a few more laps to go. Got a lap car at the moment the leaders will get to, but I think that battle for third will resolve itself now. Unfortunately, that bit of contact, we can't really see Christopher Moore really making a dent on that gap. So only a few more laps to go. They'll actually hit the final lap this time by. That one lapped car up ahead. We can see Dominic has closed in a little bit. It's looking as though he might have a chance, depending how this lap car plays out. But I don't think they'll get there. I don't think it'll factor too much. Dominic very close. He's going to be very close as they come to the line. But Tony Reposad will take the victory. Dominic Lumakowski in second, and Rhys Saunders will round out the podium. See everyone heading to the line at the moment. Fantastic drive from Tony. Only really challenged at the start of that at the beginning of that restart, but manages to bring it home.
Yeah, really solid drive there from Ripsard to just hold on from Lukomski to come home in at P1. But yeah, really, really good race, and especially for that final podium spot between the likes of Saunders, Morse, and Hyder. But unfortunately, Hyder and Lawson just couldn't quite get there in the end.
Fantastic racing all around as we wait for the final results to come in, and they should be on your screen now. Tony Reposad comes home with the victory. Dominic Lukomski will come home in second. Also, the Chargers through the field up 5 spots to get down to the podium. Rhys Saunders in an excellent battle with Christopher Morse. They'll finish 3rd and 4th. Brian Hyder will come home in 5th. Matthew Lawson coming home in 6th. Cesar Devalli Carasso will come home in 7th. Brian McRae in 8th. Jonathan Cross in 9th. And the top 10 rounded out by Joel Magnell.
And the rest of your field, John Sylvester, followed by Brian Gatliff, Ryan Carley, and then Christopher Fowler, unfortunately DNFing this one. And rounding out the field, and doesn't appear to have turned a lap at all, is Julian Kustshaga.
Yes, and that's part 2 run and done. Cam, fantastic night of racing. We've had 2 absolute amazing drives in both the GT3s at Donington and here at Dover. Final thoughts for tonight?
Bring on next week, because it's probably just going to be as good. But looking forward to seeing what happens in the next week and also the rest of the season.
I should be aware of what's coming up next week. If I could probably have a quick flick through, find out what is going to be coming up. Looks like next week we will, for the C Fixed, we will head to Martinsville. Now, might have to remind me again, Cam, Martinsville, is that a bit of a short track, or I believe it's a bit of a shorter track?
Definitely a paperclip, so it's probably gonna bring a few road drivers out. Wouldn't be surprised if certain Jake Maloney shows his face and rocks up and tries to have a win. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing there. And then GT3 next week will be at Interlagos. So quite the week you've got ahead of you.
Yes, once again, thank you very, very much. Next week, I said we will have the Interlagos and we will have Martinsville, and we'll be back same time, same place on SimSpeed. Thank you to Cameron Dance for joining me tonight, and a producer, once again, Scott Fontaine. I'm Simon Zomek. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and we will see you next week.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's going in the outside. Both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
The following is a presentation of the iRacing eSports Network.